Yeah, g'day. I just decided to start pumping out some videos because I've basically got nothing better to do, still waiting on lawyers. People have got lives. Obviously, I live this 24/7, but other people have lives, wives, kids, mortgages to pay and do stuff. So I've got to wait to hear back from the lawyers about heading back to Australia, what the hell's going on. But before I do, I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos. Some of them are going to be very nasty. I'm going to give you the good oil on anyone and everyone. Dr. Frederick Tobin's going to be a good one. I'm going to go after Mark Glenn and what he did. I'm in fact also people like oh shit, can't even remember people's names. I'm just going to spill my guts here, and you will understand why I've been so pissed off over the years with the way people have behaved. We're going to talk about Talpiot again. The reason being, a bunch of people said they were going to be talking about this night and day, and this was fantastic information. And Brendan, God bless you, we were ready to fight. There's nothing. Nothing's being done. You could make a career on doing a good documentary on this, a 2-hour documentary. Remember Mike Delaney? Him and John Allen Martinson did Missing Links. They just got Christopher Bollin's work, wrote a script, and on a budget of 20 cents made the definitive and original Israel did 9/11 documentary. Well, you can do this right now, just on a few posts. That finally sort of, there's a Talpiot page now. The story of EDF's most elite unit, Talpiot. So there's a Talpiot page on Facebook. It's to do with a book by this guy, Jason Gerwitz, Israel's Edge. Go and read. Actually, read the stuff here. How will Israel keep its strategic edge over an increasingly dangerous Iran? Do you see how they need each other? Israel's got to justify those defense budgets. It's got to justify its big military spending, its big military thieving, and its military research and development, which it steals off the United States. Go and read all that. Of course, I did post about this many moons ago, not that long ago. The greatest spy machine of all time. Got some good replies from politicians, and of course, the Info Underground did an excellent. The Info Underground. I read this years ago. This is 2007. This guy, Crack Smoke Republican, great post. You could basically do your entire documentary off this one post right here, the Info Underground. It's all there. You could do all the names, places. You could write your script, and I'll reiterate for you why I get so frustrated. The way Israel dominates and rules the planet is because it's running everything. It's not the NSA, or it's Israel. They're running everything, all the high technology, all the spying programs, all the core infrastructure. They've got kill switches. This is why they're able to do whatever they like, and no one can stop them. No one seems to be able to stop them. You're watching the Jewish neocons and the Likudniks moving in on Trump. War is coming, without question, war is coming. No one can seem to stop it. We start masturbating that it's all going to end and Trump's going to fix everything, and it just nothing stops it. It's because Israel is running and controlling everything, and it just tells people, if you don't support us, we'll press that kill switch. Your hospitals aren't going to work. Your trains aren't going to work. Your power supplies aren't going to work. We're going to make your dams run over time and your turbines blow up, just like we did with the Stuxnet virus on the Iranian centrifuges. That's what they've done. It's all here for you, waiting. I'm finished. I'm done. I'm just trying to get out of this now. I've got the skills to do a documentary. I feel sick all the time. I'm lethargic. Sometimes I'm so paranoid. I think, have I been poisoned? I've never felt like this, where I'm just absolutely fucked every day. I can't do these long-winded videos with the fancy graphics. I'm just going to be doing this from now on. So there you go. Info Underground, Operation Talpiot. Did Talpiot pull off 9/11? I think they did. Go on, there's your documentary right there. Ryan Dawson, I understand you're doing a video on JFK. Just what the world needs, another JFK video. But we need urgently a documentary on Operation Talpiot and how Israel rules via its domination of databases, banking, finance, telecommunications, medical, you name it. They've got the database, they're running the security, Class A infrastructure. I'll repeat it 1,000 times over and 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 over again until you listen. Now, all these young bucks who go, Connell, you're a genius, you're amazing, we're going to get onto this, we're going to make documentaries, we're going to do this, we're going to have websites up. There's nothing. There is literally nothing. I'm watching all these young guys that had their new, obviously, everyone must do their multimedia degrees, realise they're never getting a job, and then they say, I know what I'll do. I'll make a conspiracy website and I'll ask for donations. Then that appears it. That's what it is. No one is talking about or even linking to my stuff. Nothing. You're not doing your own research. Nothing. It's nothing. I'm starting to wonder who remembers the skunk judicialink.biz, Liberty Forum, the most amazing forum ever. Knowledge ABS. And the skunk, I was one of the few people the skunk would talk to. And he said to me, Brendan, 80–90% of the people you're talking to are frauds. They are literally frauds. They have armies of them. And I'm starting to believe it, because how could I scream so loud? I've been to Iran. I've proven to you they're verbally going to grant me political asylum. They were extending my visa. I walked out. I still have a lot of footage I haven't released. I'm going to release footage of the apartment I was in, what they were giving me. I've got footage of that lawyer. Oh, I haven't finished with that lawyer, David T. Lashkari. We're going to be talking about him later on. I've been in contact with some people from Iran, the more conservative Ahmadinejad crowd, who've said, basically, you're with that Rafsanjani crowd. That Rafsanjani was a billionaire, the former president. And all these reformists that were selling out the revolution. And, well, it would seem so, because I could not get them to talk about Operation Talpiot either. In fact, no one wants to talk about Operation Talpiot and Israel's domination of the high technology sector. Ever notice that? Nobody will talk about it. So, Cynthia McKinney got back in touch again and said, yeah, why don't you come and visit here in Bangladesh? That'd be nice. Ali, who works with Spiro, who works with Sibel Edmonds, we're a bit worried about our audience, Brendan, meaning, you might take away our audience and our money. We don't want to talk to you. What have you got to offer, Brendan? What have you done? This is what I mean, man. You think people are lining up to interview me? There's no one lining up to interview me. It's bollocks. All right? And I've told people over and over, you contact me via email or my phone. And my contact details are all over my blog. It's all over my posts. It's all over my YouTube channel. I don't have time to go through every YouTube channel comment, every idiot comment I have to read. I just can't stand reading them. I really can't. I'm not even interested in carrying this on. This is all about self-preservation now. I've done my bit. It's been nearly 9 years now of hell. 9 years of hell. I want out. My family has got out. My sister has clearly been murdered. I've been pretty diplomatic about it. Said, well, we don't know. She was murdered. She was poisoned. Massive stroke. Bled continuously. Would not stop bleeding. Alright, I could tell you stories make you toe curls, and I'm going to do it just very simply, sit in front of this computer, going over a few things. So Talpiot, no one's talking about it still. You could make a documentary right here on the Info Underground information. Ryan Dawson, what are you doing? You were one of the first people onto this stuff as well, I might add. 2005, he had a website going, which was one of the original websites to talk about this stuff. I just cannot understand. Are they doing like Kabbalah curses on people with like the evil, what do you call it, evil eye stuff, and confusing people and making people confused? If they do another false flag with crisis actors, are you going to analyse that till it comes out of your ass? I mean, seriously. People just say it's a crisis. They're crisis actors. It's a false flag. So how many more are they going to do? You've convinced me. They are definitely doing false flag events with crisis actors and fake injuries and stuff. They're definitely doing it. You've convinced me. So what are you going to do? Every time they do one, you're going to do another thorough analysis? You're like a dog with a squirrel. Squirrel! And the dog goes, races off that way. Squirrel! Races off that way. You won't focus on Israel and their domination of the high technology world. If you would push this night and day, the war would be over. If you would write letters to your members of parliament, to your congressmen and your senators and do the hard yards, this war will be over. If you will expose at the grassroots level this stuff, the war will be over. The war will be over. But you don't want the war over, I'm sure of it. I'm sure you won't know what to do with yourselves. There are very talented people who can make very flash websites and very good videos, and they will not mention the word Operation Talpiot. That's the key. Operation Talpiot. T-A-L-P-I-O-T. Operation Talpiot. Should be on everyone's lips. The kill switches. The Edward Snowden said, we've installed hardware and software in people's infrastructure all over the world that's run by Israel. They have their SANIM networks. You know the guy you're working next to down in the NSA bunker? Gabriel, or whatever his name is, or Bob Smith. He's from Texas, but he served 3 years in the Israeli Defense Force, and he went through the Talpiot school. He's Israeli military intelligence trained, and he's got an American accent just like you, and he talks just like you, and he surfs just like you, but he's working for Israel. There are tens of thousands of them completely infiltrated all through the American system, British system, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. Why is no one talking about this? Why am I the only voice that will talk about this? Why? Where is Sibel Edmonds, the Corbett Report? They do some stuff on this. They actually do stuff on this. But they will not say Operation Talpiot. Why can you not say Operation Talpiot? And why, when people do something, they do like one show? But I did something, Brendan. Like 10 years ago, I did a show. No, you need to be doing an advertising and marketing campaign whereby you do it repeatedly, continuously, over time. Where are these big names? Where are the big names? Where are they? They won't mention this case. Iran didn't want to talk about it. I had to scream and threaten for 3 weeks. I said, I will embarrass you if you will not talk about this. They won't talk about Jewish racial and religious supremacism. That Ali guy who works for the court, Sibel Edmonds, Spiro, he goes, oh, it's irrelevant, it's nothing, they're all the same, the Christians are the same, the Muslims are the same. How is there any moral equivalence between the Babylonian Talmud, Shulchan Aruch and Zohar, and the Quran and the New Testament? How? How is there any moral equivalence? The Israeli state is built on the foundation of Jewish racial genetic supremacism. It's in everything they do and everything they write about. They call us all slaves. They're top people, not some obscure rabbi out in the desert. They're top people hanging with Tony Blair and leaders of industry and all this. And people like this Ali who works with Spiro and Sibel Evans, oh, it's all irrelevant. It's all irrelevant. If the fucking Pope got up and said God made non-Catholics to be our slaves, would anyone say that was irrelevant? There's something going on. There's people getting paid off. They've got their audience. Sometimes they just internalise the values. I've got a career now. I'm making money out of this. I've got 40,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers. I'm the next news network with my big fake shoulder pads, and I'm getting linked to by Rivera. I'm Morris, some guy in Thailand who's doing really obscure, boring shit. And they're getting built up, and it's like a circle jerk. They're all pulling each other off, linking to each other's stuff, just saying the same old shit I can read everywhere. But no one will talk about Talpiot. No one will talk about Israel's domination of the high technology sector. People have said to me, Brendan, a lot more people would interview you if you just be more polite. I'm over being fucking polite. If the world is hanging by a thin thread, and it appears so, and I'm usually an optimist, we are days, perhaps weeks away from war and a tactical nuclear exchange in the Middle East, because that is the only way Iran will be taken out, with tactical nukes. And you wanky circle jerk fucktards are actually sitting there complaining that I'm not polite enough. If someone is not talking about what is self-evident, Operation Talpiot is real. It is Israel's plan to dominate the high technology sector of the world. They planned to do it. They literally planned this. Literally. From the get-go, I've got plans 100 years old. They're planning 100 years ahead. Now they dominate. That's why they've got everything on all the politicians. You know, they'll go in and send people in to get them into fraud. So if they can't get them on pedophilia, they can't get them on hookers, they're not closet homosexuals, they're not closet bisexuals, then they'll go like with land deals. They'll do a land deal. Hey, I've got this really good deal. They get their friend to come in, and pretty soon, oh, it's a really good deal. Is it all above board? Oh, it's absolutely above board. And I get him in, and there's a fraudulent Russian fucking Jewish mobster involved on the sidelines, and they go, oh, sorry about that. I guess you might want to work for us now. I mean, they literally have handbooks on this, running counterinsurgencies as it applies to people, different levels, politicians, leaders of industry. This is scientifically, psychologically warfare crafted. And none of you are talking about it. You're just wanking on that same shit day after day. Iran's this, Russia's going to save us, Syria, bloody blah, Israel's mean, Israel's nasty, Israel kill kids. There is no fist, there is no organisation. No one will talk about Operation Talpiot. This is the way. People say, why does Israel get away with this? And we don't really go, oh, they're so upset. They email me, oh, what are we going to do? I keep telling you, Operation Talpiot. They've got everyone by the fucking balls. And there is Netanyahu with his finger over the big red button, the big red kill switch. If you don't do what we say, we kill switch your fucking train system, your electronic system. These are the people that managed. Read the history of the Stuxnet virus. They infected tens of millions of USBs, knowing that eventually they infected them at the point of manufacture. Eventually, some Iranian was going to pick up and buy those USBs and take them back to that nuclear facility, and they would plug that USB into that thing. And that USB would recognize that it was in Siemens controller unit, and it would then infect. And they infected tens of millions of USBs at the hardware level to do that. And they did what they did. It was brilliant. Okay, but they have is it really brilliant? I mean, they're at the point where they can do that sort of stuff. We could come up with these ideas too if we controlled everything. So they have everyone kill switched. Is this not something you would like to talk about? Is this not something you should be putting on your website with your big color graphics and please send me money, I need money? People want to talk about this because no one's talking about it. I don't see it anywhere. I just see people still talking about World Trade Center. Did World Trade Center 7? There was no aircraft hit it. How did it collapse? You're still jerking off over this shit. It's done. We know who did it. Christopher Berlin has exposed. Christopher Berlin has... Here, look, I'll even take you there. I'll even take you to the Christopher Berlin. It's 90 minutes. Everything is solved. Everything is solved. Look at this. Here we go. You can do this too. Christopher Berlin, Portland. I believe he's got some new ones out now. I haven't looked at them. There you go. Speaks at Portland Community College. Solving 9/11 ends. You just have to watch that 90-minute thing, and he will give you the Yangon plan, the plan back in the early 80s to do a major terrorist attack on America, to show America that Arab Muslim terrorism was their problem too, and they would take out all of Israel's enemies in the Middle East. And we're seeing it unfold now. It's already been done. You don't need to worry about whether Muhammad Atta had on red underpants. You don't need to worry if there were aircraft or were they holograms. Was it a phaser beam, a photon torpedo? Was it thermite? Was it all this just jerking off continuously? You can stop all that. We understand Israel did it. Now how they do it, how they control Operation Talpiot, the high technology sector. Edward Snowden clearly isn't going to tell you anything about it. Julian Assange clearly in WikiLeaks is not going to tell you anything about it. You're going to have to do the work. So yes, there will be another false flag. They've done an attack in Moscow apparently. Actually, I just looked at some photos. Amazingly, there's just an explosion and people are just sort of lying around and there's no fire, there's no smoke, there's no nothing. Probably another bullshit crisis actor thing. Who knows? But are you going to spend the next 10 years trying to work it out, or are you going to talk about Operation Talpiot? Are you going to... Because, you know what? If we're on the Titanic and it's sinking, I'm down there with people and we're banging into the big gash on the side of the boat. And you're upstairs having drinks, arguing over whether, you know, someone's got a red G-string on and whether that's significant to the World Trade Center or the Pentagon or whatever. This does not make sense to you. You're either mentally ill, mentally or fucked hard, or you're working for the opposition, and it's quite possible you work for the opposition, because for the life of me, you know, for the life of me. Anyway, I'm just going to keep pumping out these videos. It'll get about 10 views.